First, I will discuss the reason for our unhappiness. Later, I will discuss 4 agreements which will help us to remove our unhappiness. After we were born, we did not have the capacity to make decisions for ourselves. We are so weak mentally and physically. Every decision was taken by our family. It was not your choice to speak English. You did not choose your religion or moral values. They were already there before you were born. We never had the opportunity to choose what to believe or what not to believe. We never choose even the smallest of these agreements. We did not even choose our own name. As children, we did not have the opportunity to choose our beliefs, but we agreed with the information that was passed to us from the society. The only way to store society's rule or information is by agreement. If we don't agree, we don't store the information. As soon as we agree, we believe it, and this is called faith. To have faith is to believe something unconditionally. That is how we learn as children. Children believe everything adults say. We agree with them, and our faith is so strong that the belief system controls our whole life. We are not strong enough to fight against those beliefs. We are told how to live, what kind of behavior is acceptable. As children, when we went against the rules, we were punished. When we went along with the rules, we got a reward. So, we became afraid of being punished and also afraid of not receiving the reward. The reward feels good, and we keep doing what others want us to do in order to get the reward. We start pretending to be what we are not, just to please others. We try to please everyone around us. We pretend to be what we are not because we are afraid of being rejected. Eventually, we became someone that we are not. The beliefs the society inserted in our mind is like a book of law that rules our mind. Whatever is in that book of law is truth. We judge everything and everybody around us according to this book of laws. Every time we do something that goes against the book of law, we feel guilty. We are always judging ourselves, and this is all based on a belief system that we never choose to believe. Those beliefs are so strong that it takes a lot of courage to break those beliefs. So, how can we improve our situation? How can we regain our inner freedom? How can we become the person we want to be? We can say it is our agreements which rule our life. Those agreements were inserted into our brain when we were children. As children, we were so weak to break those agreements. But if we want to regain our inner freedom, we need to change the agreements. There are 4 very powerful agreements that will help us to break those agreements. The first agreement is to be impeccable with your word. It sounds very simple, but it is very, very powerful. Your words basically say who you are. You express your creative power through your words. Depending upon how it is used, the word can set you free or it can enslave you. The word is so powerful that one word can change a life or destroy the lives of millions of people. Some years ago, one man in Germany, by the use of the word, manipulated a whole country of the most intelligent people. The human mind is like a fertile ground where seeds are planted. The seeds are opinions, ideas, and concepts. You plant a seed, a thought, and it grows. Take the example of Hitler. He sent out all those seeds of fear and they grew very strong and beautifully achieved massive destruction. If you prepare your mind for positive seeds, then negative seeds will not grow in your mind. Being impeccable with your words means you don't use your words against you. You make the best use of word. You use the word to express love, joy and happiness. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your action, but you don't judge or blame yourself. Very often, we use the word to spread out personal poison, to express anger, jealousy, envy and hate. We use the word to create hate between different races, between different people, between families, between nations. We misuse the power of words so often. We should use the power of word to improve our situation. If we become impeccable with our word, any emotional poison will be cleaned out from our mind. We will only receive a negative idea if our mind is fertile for that idea. If we become impeccable with our word, our mind is no longer fertile ground for negative thoughts. How much you love yourself, how you feel about yourself are expressed through your word. When you are impeccable with your word, you feel good, you feel happy and at peace. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. Whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. Nothing other people do is because of you, it is because of themselves. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world from the one we live in. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that they know what is in our world, and we try to impose our world on their world. What other people say about you are according to the agreements they have in their own minds. If someone's mind is full of negative idea, that person will say bad things about you. What other people say about you reflects their inner self. If someone feels good, he will spread happiness, and if someone feels bad, he will spread hatred. So don't take anything personally. If they say bad things about you, it is because they are full of negative idea. It is not your fault. The third agreement is don't make any assumption. We have the tendency to make assumptions about everything. Because we are afraid to ask questions, we make assumptions and believe we are right about the assumption. We create a lot of emotional poison just by making assumptions and taking it personally. Often, when you go into a relationship with someone you like, you have to justify why you like that person. You only see what you want to see, and you deny there are things you don't like about that person. You lie to yourself just to make yourself right. Then you make assumptions, and one of the assumptions is, my love will change this person. But this is not true. Your love will not change anybody. If others change, it's because they want to change, not because you can change them. Then something happens between the two of you, and you get hurt. Suddenly you see what you did not want to see before. Only now it is amplified by your emotional poison. We don't need to justify love. It is there or not there. Real love is accepting the other people the way they are without trying to change them. If we try to change them, this means we don't really like them. The way to keep yourself from making assumptions is to ask questions. Make sure that the communication is clear. If you don't understand, have the courage to ask questions. The fourth agreement is always do your best. Under any circumstance, always do your best, no more or no less. If you do your best, there is no way you can judge yourself. And if you don't judge yourself, there is no way you are going to suffer from guilt, blame, and self punishment. Doing your best is taking the action because you love it, not because you are expecting a reward. Most people do exactly the opposite. They only take action when they expect a reward, and they don't enjoy the action. For example, most people go to work every day just thinking of payday. They work so hard all week long, suffering the work, not because they like it, but because they have to. When they receive their money, they are unhappy. They don't like their life. On the other hand, if you take action just for the sake of doing it, without expecting a reward, you will find that you enjoy every action you do. Rewards will come, but you are not attached to the reward. A good example of this comes from the story about Forrest Gump. He did not have great ideas, but he took action. He was happy because he always did his best at whatever he did. He was richly rewarded without expecting any reward at all. If you do your best in the search for personal freedom, in the search for self-love, you will discover that it's just a matter of time before you find what you are looking for.